Bill Goldberg was supposed to be unstoppable. He was the guy who walked through opponents like they were made of paper. When Goldberg lost it, though, the whole illusion came crashing down. Wrestling is fake. Everyone knows that. The punches are pulled. The blood is often planned. The winners are decided in advance. But Goldberg was different. He brought real intensity to a fake fight. And when that intensity crossed the line, people got hurt. Careers were ruined. Millions of dollars were lost. And the wrestling world learned a hard lesson. You can script the outcome. You can rehearse the moves. But you cannot control a man who believes his own hype. This is the story of 5 moments when Goldberg went off script. 5 moments when WWE and WCW could not contain him. 5 moments that exposed the truth behind the myth. Goldberg exploded onto the scene in 1997. He was not like other wrestlers. He did not come up through the small shows. He did not train in Japan. He did not pay his dues. He was created in a lab. The WCW power plant took a former football player and turned him into a monster. They gave him a streak, win after win after win. Short matches, big moves, no talking, just domination. It worked. Fans loved him. He felt real in a world of characters. But that reality had a cost. Goldberg did not know how to wrestle a long match. He did not understand ring psychology. He relied on his opponents to lead him through every move. As long as everyone followed the script, he looked like a god. But when someone deviated, the cracks showed fast. The formula was simple. Goldberg would enter the ring. His opponent would charge at him. Goldberg would hit a spear. Then he would lift them up for the jackhammer. 1, 2, 3, victory. The matches rarely lasted more than 2 minutes. This protected Goldberg from his own limitations. He did not have the cardio for a 15-minute match. He did not have the technical skills to chain wrestle. He did not have the experience to call a match on the fly. So WCW kept everything short and explosive. The streak grew. 10 wins, 20 wins, 50 wins, 100 wins. Goldberg became the hottest thing in wrestling. Fans chanted his name. They bought his merchandise. They tuned in every week to see who would fall next. WCW had struck gold, but they had also created a problem. Goldberg believed he really was unstoppable, and when reality challenged that belief, things fell apart. February 9th, 1998, Goldberg walked into the ring in El Paso, Texas. He was undefeated. His opponent was William Regal. Regal was a technician. He came from the brutal British wrestling scene. He knew how to grapple for real. He knew how to hurt people if he wanted to. WCW told Regal to make the match competitive. 6 minutes instead of the usual 2. Regal took that instruction seriously. What happened next was painful to watch. Regal did not charge into Goldberg like everyone else. He used wrist locks, he used leverage, he used footwork, and Goldberg had no idea what to do. The footage shows it clearly. Goldberg froze. He stared at Regal. He did not know the counter move, so he just stopped wrestling. Regal got frustrated. He started hitting Goldberg for real. Stiff palm strikes, hard uppercuts. This was not fake anymore. This was a punishment. Goldberg tried to whip Regal into the ropes. Regal refused to run. He sandbagged his weight. Goldberg had to muscle him or give up on the move entirely. The match fell apart. It was awkward. It was disjointed. It exposed Goldberg as a rookie who could not improvise. The crowd did not understand what they were watching. They expected another quick squash. Instead, they saw Goldberg struggle. They saw him get out-wrestled by a smaller man. They saw confusion on his face. For 6 long minutes, the mystique of the undefeated monster crumbled. Regal controlled the pace. He tied Goldberg up in holds that required actual wrestling knowledge to escape. Goldberg did not have that knowledge. He was lost. Every time Regal moved, Goldberg had to stop and think about what to do next. That pause, that hesitation, it killed the magic. Wrestling is about flow. One move leads to the next. Action and reaction. Regal was flowing. Goldberg was drowning. After the match, the blame game started. Goldberg said Regal sabotaged him. He said Regal was jealous and wanted to embarrass him on live television. Years later, Goldberg said he would love to fight Regal for real. He felt betrayed. He felt humiliated. In his mind, Regal had gone into business for himself. Regal told a different story. He said management told him to go 6 minutes. He said he left openings for Goldberg to grab. Arms, legs, basic wrestling positions. But Goldberg did nothing. He did not know what to do. Regal wrote in his book that Goldberg panicked when the match was not a simple squash. He said he tried to help Goldberg look good, but Goldberg was too inexperienced to see the openings. Who was telling the truth? It does not matter. The result was clear. WCW fired William Regal. They blamed him for making their investment look bad, and Goldberg learned the wrong lesson. He learned that he did not need to get better. The system would just remove anyone who tested him. This moment planted the seeds for everything that came after. Goldberg resented technical wrestlers. He saw them as threats instead of teachers, and that resentment would explode 5 years later. By 1999, WCW was in trouble. The Monday Night Wars were slipping away. Ratings were falling. Vince Russo took over the creative team. He wanted edgy content. He wanted extreme moments. He wanted Goldberg to do something shocking, so they wrote a segment. Goldberg would chase the NWO into the parking lot. They would hide in a white limousine limousine. Goldberg would smash the windows to get at them. Simple enough, except it was not. The segment was filmed in Salisbury, Maryland for Thunder. Goldberg was supposed to use a pipe or a similar weapon to break the glass, but in the heat of the moment, he dropped it. The weapon fell inside the limo or onto the ground. A normal person would stop. A professional would reset the spot. Goldberg did not. He decided to punch the window with his bare fist instead. This decision changed everything. Goldberg was so locked into his character, so committed to the moment, that he did not think about the consequences. He just acted. He cocked his fist back and drove it through the window with full force. The glass exploded, and so did his arm. Automotive safety glass is designed to shatter into cubes, but it takes massive force to break it in the first place, and the frame is still sharp metal. Goldberg punched through. The glass cut him deep. He severed the ulnar artery in his right forearm. This is one of the two main blood vessels that supply the hand. Arterial blood started spurting. If it is not compressed immediately, you can die. The ulnar nerve was also damaged. This nerve controls the small muscles in your hand. It gives you sensation in your ring finger and pinky. If it is cut, your hand can become a claw. You lose fine motor control forever. Goldberg was rushed to emergency surgery. Doctors performed microsurgery to reattach the nerve and repair the artery. Goldberg later admitted he came within a centimeter of losing his arm, 1 centimeter, because he dropped a prop and decided to punch a car window anyway. The cameras kept rolling. They captured Goldberg pulling his arm back through the broken window. They captured the blood. They captured the shock on his face when he realized what he had done. WCW aired the footage. They turned a genuine medical emergency into content. The fans watching at home had no idea how serious it was. They thought it was part of the show, but backstage everyone knew. Goldberg had crossed a line. He had prioritized the moment over his own safety, and it cost him dearly. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Goldberg was scheduled to main event Starrcade 1999. This was WCW's biggest show of the year. He was likely going to wrestle Bret Hart. His injury forced a complete rewrite. The card was changed at the last minute. WCW brought back the Montreal Screwjob angle. Fans hated it. The show bombed. Goldberg was out for 5 months. During a ratings war, losing your top star for 5 months is a disaster. Estimates put the financial loss in the millions. Pay-per-view buys dropped, ticket sales dropped, and Goldberg's reputation among his peers took a permanent hit. Wrestlers started calling him reckless. They called him stupid. Bret Hart, who would later be injured by Goldberg, saw this moment as proof. Goldberg was dangerous to himself and everyone around him. He had no self-preservation instinct. He did not think before he acted. And when the cameras were rolling, he would do anything to look intense, even if it meant destroying his own career. The injury also affected Goldberg mentally. He had to undergo months of physical therapy. He had to relearn how to use his hand. The doctors told him he was lucky, a centimeter in a different direction, and he would have lost the arm completely. Goldberg thought about that every day during his recovery. He thought about how one stupid decision almost ended everything. But even then, even after nearly losing his arm, Goldberg did not change. He did not become more careful. He did not learn to separate the character from the man. If anything, the injury made him more determined to prove he was tough, and that determination would lead to more problems down the road. By 2003, Goldberg was in WWE. So was Chris Jericho. They had history. In WCW, Jericho tried to build a feud with Goldberg. Jericho mocked him on television. He called him out week after week. Goldberg refused to work with him. He said Jericho was too small. He said Jericho used too much comedy. He dismissed him as a cruiserweight who did not belong in the main event. Jericho never forgot that disrespect. He worked his way to the top anyway. He became the first undisputed champion in WWE history. He proved he belonged, but Goldberg still saw him as a joke. To Goldberg, Jericho was still the mid-carder from WCW who was beneath his station. The tension had been building for years. Jericho resented being ignored in WCW. He resented that Goldberg would not give him a chance. Goldberg resented Jericho for being everything he was not. Jericho could talk, he could wrestle, he could work any style, he was versatile and creative. Goldberg had power and intensity. That was it. Deep down, Goldberg knew Jericho was the better wrestler, and that knowledge ate at him. So when they both ended up in WWE, the old wounds reopened. Goldberg started talking trash about Jericho behind his back. He complained to Kevin Nash. He complained to other veterans. He said Jericho was overrated. He said Jericho did not deserve his spot. Word got back to Jericho, and Jericho decided he was not going to take it anymore. The tension exploded backstage at Monday Night Raw. Goldberg had been complaining about Jericho to other wrestlers. He was burying Jericho behind his back, talking trash to Kevin Nash and others. Jericho found out. He was not going to take that disrespect in WWE. This was his home turf. He confronted Goldberg in the locker room. The verbal argument escalated fast. Goldberg broke into character. He started growling. He grabbed Jericho by the throat. This was classic intimidation. Goldberg was 285 pounds. Jericho was 225. Goldberg thought thought his size would end the argument. He was wrong. Jericho trained in the Heart Dungeon. This was a legendary school for real grappling and submission wrestling. Jericho knew how to fight. He did not try to punch Goldberg. He slapped Goldberg's hand away from his throat. Then he dove in for a clinch. He secured a front face lock. This is also called a guillotine choke. It controls the opponent's neck and spine. Jericho sprawled his hips back and torqued Goldberg's neck. He used Goldberg's own momentum against him. Witnesses said Goldberg struggled. He could not escape. The little guy from Calgary wrestled the monster to the floor and held on for dear life. Booker T was there. He confirmed that Jericho held his own. Other wrestlers broke up the fight, but the damage was done. The locker room watched in amazement. Nobody expected Jericho to stand up to Goldberg physically, but there he was, controlling the bigger man with technique. Goldberg thrashed. He tried to use his strength to break free, but Jericho had the position locked in. In grappling, position beats strength almost every time. Jericho knew this. Goldberg did not. The fight only lasted about 30 seconds before people pulled them apart, but those 30 seconds changed everything. Goldberg's aura was built on fear. People were afraid of him because he looked unstoppable. Jericho proved he was not a real fighter. He was an athlete. He was strong, but he did not have the combat skills of the wrestlers he looked down on. After the fight, Goldberg and Jericho shook hands. Goldberg apologized. He told Jericho he would apologize for the rest of his life. They eventually worked together that summer, but the locker room knew the truth. Goldberg had been humbled by a smaller man with better technique. The myth was shattered. December 14th, 2003. Goldberg defended the World Heavyweight Championship at Armageddon. The match was a triple threat. Goldberg versus Kane versus Triple H. WWE booked Triple H to win. This was standard business. The title needed to go back to Evolution. Goldberg was told to do the job. In wrestling, doing the job means losing. It is part of the profession. Everyone loses eventually. It is scripted. It does not mean anything. But Goldberg could not handle it. His entire identity was built on being undefeated. In WCW, he was protected at all costs. In WWE, he was just another guy. Triple H pinned him. The match ended. Goldberg returned to the locker room and lost it. This was not a scripted backstage segment. This was a real tantrum. Witnesses said Goldberg threw chairs. He threw equipment. He screamed profanities. He was furious that he had to lose. The WWE locker room was shocked. In WWE culture, you do the job professionally, you shake hands, you thank your opponent for the match, you move on. Throwing a fit because you lost a fake fight is considered childish. It is considered entitled. Goldberg did not care. He was angry, and he let everyone know it. The other wrestlers in the locker room could not believe what they were seeing. Veterans who had lost hundreds of matches watched Goldberg destroy property over one scripted loss. It was embarrassing. It was unprofessional, and it revealed something important about Goldberg. He had never learned to lose. In WCW, he was booked to be undefeated for over a year. When he finally lost, it was in a chaotic match where he was not pinned. He was protected even in defeat. WWE did not work that way. In WWE, everyone takes turns on top. You win some, you lose some. The story is what matters, but Goldberg could not see past his own ego. To him, losing meant failure, and he could not accept failure. Triple H walked into the locker room. He was still in his gear. He asked Goldberg if there was a problem, and just like that, Goldberg folded. All the rage disappeared. He thanked Triple H for the match. He left the building, but the damage was done. WWE management suspended Goldberg the next day. The suspension was kept quiet to protect the storylines, but it marked the beginning of the end for his first WWE run. WWE could not trust him to handle losing, and if you cannot handle losing in professional wrestling, you cannot function. This moment showed the psychological cost of the undefeated gimmick. When your entire character is built on winning, losing feels like death. Goldberg never learned to separate his ego from his character, and it destroyed his credibility in the locker room. The suspension was not long, maybe a week, but it sent a message. WWE was not going to baby Goldberg the way WCW did. If he threw a tantrum, there would be consequences. Goldberg got the message. He came back. He finished out his contract. But the damage to his reputation was permanent. The boys in the back lost respect for him. They saw him as a mark, someone who believed his own character too much, someone who could not handle the business. When Goldberg left WWE in 2004, nobody was sad to see him go. 15 years later, Goldberg returned to WWE. He was 52 years old. WWE booked him to wrestle The Undertaker at Super Showdown in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Both men were in their 50s. The event was outdoors. The temperature was over 100 degrees. The risks were high, but WWE wanted the payday, and Goldberg wanted one more big match. Goldberg had a pre-match ritual. He would headbutt a door to psych himself up. He had done this for decades, but at 52, his brain was not the same. His skull was not the same. He headbutted the locker room door with too much force. He cut his forehead open, and he knocked himself out. Before he even walked through the curtain, Goldberg was concussed. He later admitted he did not know where he was. He had no idea what was going on. down, but he walked to the ring anyway. This was the moment when someone should have stopped him. A doctor should have checked him. A producer should have called off the match, but nobody did. Goldberg said he was fine, and WWE believed him. Or maybe they did not care. The show had to go on. The Saudi government was paying millions for this event. Goldberg stumbled to the ring. The Undertaker was waiting, and what followed was a nightmare. The match was a disaster. Early on, Goldberg charged into the corner. He missed. He slammed his head directly into the ring post. This was a second concussion on top of the first. Goldberg was now severely disoriented. He could not protect himself. He could not protect the Undertaker. The most terrifying moment came when Goldberg tried to hit the jackhammer. This is his finishing move. He lifts his opponent and slams them down, but his legs gave out. He dropped the Undertaker vertically on his head and neck. It was inches away from being a broken neck, inches away from paralysis or death. They tried to finish the match. They botched another spot. They cracked heads again. The referee mercifully ended it early. The crowd did not know what to make of it. They booed. They chanted for refunds. They knew they had witnessed something terrible, but they did not know how close it came to being a tragedy. If the Undertaker had landed differently, if his neck had bent just a little more, he could have been paralyzed. He could have died, and it would have been Goldberg's fault. Not because he wanted to hurt anyone, but because he was too proud to admit he was hurt, too stubborn to stop the match, too committed to the character to think about reality. Backstage, the Undertaker was furious. In the documentary The Last Ride, he said the match was almost catastrophic. He questioned whether he should keep wrestling. He asked if he was risking permanent injury. Goldberg felt terrible. He admitted he forgot his routine. He called himself wildly stupid and irresponsible. But the apologies did not change the facts. Goldberg endangered a legend because he could not control himself. He knocked himself out doing a ritual he had done 1,000 times. And then he walked into the ring anyway. This was the ultimate failure. The Goldberg character finally broke the man playing him. The aftermath was ugly. Fans criticized both men. They said they were too old. They said the match should never have happened. The Undertaker took it hard. He considered retiring. Goldberg disappeared from WWE for a while. The match became a cautionary tale, a reminder that wrestling is a young man's game, and that pride can be deadly. 5 moments, 5 failures. William Regal exposed him as a rookie who could not wrestle. The limo window showed his reckless lack of self-control. Chris Jericho humbled him in a real fight. The Armageddon meltdown revealed his psychological fragility, and the Undertaker match proved that age and ego are a dangerous combination. These were not accidents. They were the result of a system that created a monster and never taught him how to stop. Goldberg brought intensity. He brought realism, but he never learned how to fake it. So he did it for real. Real punches, real glass, real concussions, real anger, and when the script fell apart, so did he. Each incident built on the last. The Regal match showed Goldberg could not improvise. The limo window showed he would hurt himself to stay in character. The Jericho fight showed he was not as tough as he thought. The Armageddon tantrum showed he could not handle losing. And the Undertaker match showed that time does not fix these problems. It makes them worse. Goldberg never evolved. He never adapted. He stayed the same person from 1998 to 2019. And that stubbornness cost him and others dearly. But here's the truth. Goldberg changed wrestling. He brought mainstream attention to WCW. He made millions of dollars. He created moments that fans will never forget. His entrance, his spear, his jackhammer. These things mattered. They still matter. Goldberg was a phenomenon. He was lightning in a bottle. And even though he lost control, even though he hurt people, even though he made mistakes, his impact cannot be denied. Wrestling needed Goldberg. The business needed someone who felt real, someone who looked like he could actually hurt you. He delivered that. He gave fans exactly what they wanted. The cost was high. Careers were short. Bodies were broken. Egos were bruised. But that was the price of the Goldberg experience. You cannot have that level of intensity without risk. You cannot have that level of chaos without consequences. WWE and WCW could script the wins. They could script the losses. They could script the promos and the pyro and the camera angles, but they could never script the man. Bill Goldberg was uncontrollable. And in the end, that is exactly what made him unforgettable.